Good morning. It's 9 o'clock. It's Monday, April 4th. Hard to believe. We are cooking along. We're in the first week of April. Beautiful day. Looks like it's wind's picking up a little bit. Desiree, good to see you. Susan, Sam, Kosha. Glad you're on here. Jan, Julie, good morning. Dennis and Deanna. Todd, glad you're on here. So, I looked at the weather and sounds like it's supposed to be a windy week. I hate the wind. I love the rain. We don't get much of it, but I enjoy the rain. And the other day when it rained all day, that was just, that was nice. But the wind, man, that wind, it'll just put you in the house quicker than anything, won't it? Yeah, so anyway, good morning, Brian. Good morning over there in Meeker, Colorado, and Benna up there. And Benna, what is your address? Are you like Modena? Is that, or would that just be Princeton? Rose, hope you're feeling better too. Good morning, Joel, Maria. Glad you're on here too. So, all right. Well, we got our crew on here. Dreamer, glad you're on here too. So, should I give some news today? I don't know. Sometimes I think that maybe I shouldn't give the news, but I guess I will. Shauna, good morning to you too. All right, so Princeton. Aha. Okay. All right. Well, I saw that. I don't know if you guys saw this, but Hunter Biden has a Secret Service detail on him. Why would Hunter Biden have Secret Service on him? I guess, what is the president and all their family or whatever? Are they afraid maybe he might get taken hostage by the Russians, the Ukrainians, or the Chinese? I don't know. But he lives in Malibu, paying $20,000 a month rent on a house in Malibu. And so Secret Service rented a house next to him, and they're paying $30,000 a month in rent. And guess who gets to pay for that? Yes, ours truly. And so that's all of us getting to pay for that. And we so appreciate what they're doing there. And I saw that Florida teachers, some of them are walking out on Governor DeSantis for signing the bill because they are mad that they cannot teach transgenderism to 5-year-olds. It sounds to me like maybe these teachers need to go through another background check because I would guess most of them are probably a bunch of pedophiles, and probably be a good idea that they get counseling, maybe even get put in the hospital for a while to help their mental condition. And some of them, you might even want to check their computers and find out they might be doing a lot of illegal activities there on their computers. If they're wanting to teach 5-year-olds about sex and transgenderism, yeah, we got a real problem with teachers like that. I'd really be careful with my kids and watching who it is that's teaching your children. So, yeah. Oh, I tell you, Sacramento, I saw that they had a shooting in Sacramento over the weekend. Now, how does that happen? I mean, Sacramento being the capital city of California, and California already has the most stringent gun control laws in the country. I mean, for a state, you have to get a background check to buy ammo. I don't know if you're aware of that in the great state of California. You have to, there's the red flag law. There is the magazine ban. There's the assault rifle bans. I mean, they have, if there's any kind of gun control law, they have it. You cannot carry, teachers are not allowed to have, they can't have anybody armed in a school. They can't have anyone armed on a campus. I mean, they're, you name it, they got it all. And here we have these people, they get in this fight out in the middle of the street. Now, do they not know that that's illegal too? We should not be having any kind of fighting going on, but they get in a fight in the street, and then lo and behold, guns are drawn, and they start shooting each other. 6 people die, and I'm sure as soon as the shots rang out that the Capitol Police, probably the Highway Patrol for California, that's protecting Governor Newsom, that they run and grab Governor Newsom and take him into a safe space and leave the women and children behind and throw him into the safe space and into his closet somewhere. And they are still standing guard over Governor Newsom. And I hear rumors maybe they're going to let him out today. But he will be counseled, I'm sure, for PTSD for all of this shooting going on in this great state of California, where there are only law-abiding citizens, I'm sure. So, the lunacy of the left. We have it, and it's a crazy day. I see that old Miss Sarah Palin is getting back into the political realm, and I guess she just found that she could be more faithful to politics than her husband. I know, I shouldn't say that, but I don't know. Just seems like politicians sure get addicted to the money and the power and the greed and all of that goes along with it. And probably shouldn't have said that, but I did, right? I just, anyway, I don't know. I also saw that 3,500 flights were canceled over the weekend. The only thing I can tell the airlines is go woke, go broke. You guys would all be broke by now, adhering to these lunatics and doing these things that you guys would already be broke if the government wouldn't keep bailing you guys out and giving you guys a bunch of money. And crazy days, isn't it? Sorry, I got Tyler's dog here this weekend too. 3 dogs is way too many. I'm just saying, they're a bunch of nutcases, and probably gonna get the law called on me for barking dogs. So I heard there's a lady lives in suburbs of Phoenix or somewhere, and she's got these little ankle biters, right? A couple of them, and her dogs were barking at somebody when they came by, right? Well, these people got offended because their dogs were barking at them, calls the cops. So the cops come over and tell her that if your dogs bark at these people again, we're going to give you a ticket. And so she asked a good question. She said, so would you rather me then, if I can't use my dogs to protect me, would you rather me then to just pull my gun and protect myself and make sure that things are okay? Oh dear. Yeah. That Chihuahua, and that's what it is. One of them's a Chihuahua. That thing's gonna rip you apart, and I don't know. Anyway, that was all in it. And in seriousness, this one just makes me ill. I mean, I shouldn't even share this probably, but BDB, he was out and about this weekend, and I don't know if you saw this, and I'm sure the press didn't show this, but they commissioned a new submarine, the USS Delaware. And so here they are, they're on that submarine, standing up on the top of it, and he's got all of the, and we got all of the soldiers behind him, and he kneels. Our president knelt down and in front of all of our sailors. They missed their opportunity, really. That somebody should have had the sense enough to maybe just make that submarine rock a little bit. Man overboard. I just, you get your own president kneeling in the national anthem. That's a sad day. Truly, truly a sad day, isn't it? But we got to believe 81 million people voted for this guy, and I don't know. It's just there is no hope with politicians. Our hope lies in Jesus. Our hope lies in the Lord, and listening to the prayers of the righteous, and that's what we need to do, right? So anyway, I've wasted 12 minutes there just rambling on about nothing, right? So let's get into the scripture, and I want to read a couple of things here. Psalm 76, in Judah is God known. His name is great in Israel. In Salem also is his tabernacle and his dwelling place in Zion. Now, I know, talking about Israel and well known there, but we need to make him well known here. And we need to fight for his righteousness. We need to stand with him, and we need to let people know about Jesus, right? There break he the arrows of the bow, the shield, and the sword, and the battle. Selah. Thou art more glorious and excellent than the mountains of prey. The stout-hearted are spoiled. They have slept their sleep, and none of the men of might have found their hands. At thy rebuke, O God of Jacob, both the chariot and the horse are cast into a deep sleep. Thou, even thou, art to be feared. And who may stand in thy sight when once thou art angry? Thou didst cause judgment to be heard from heaven. The earth feared and was still. When God arose to judgment to save all the meek of the earth, Selah. Surely the wrath of man shall praise thee. The remainder of wrath shall thou restrain. Vow and pay unto the Lord your God. Let all that be round about him bring presents unto him that ought to be feared. He shall cut off the spirit of princes. He is terrible to the kings of the earth. You know that we need to remember that. I need to remember that. I read these things and see what all is going on, and these characters that all over the world pounding their chest and acting like they rule the world and they're all powerful, and they are nothing but men. Nothing but men. You ever given thought to that? These characters that they wake up in the morning and think that they have all rights to rule everyone. They sleep just like us. They eat just like us. They put their clothes on just like us. They look in the mirror and they know exactly what they are every day. They are just like us. And how powerful are we? We realize this as believers. How powerful are we against God? We have absolutely no authority, no power whatsoever, nor do they. They will try to take it all, but there is coming a day when God is going to show that he is sovereign, that he is all powerful, that he is the mighty one. And I'm glad that I'm on his side. I'm glad that I can rest in him and trust in him and know that when I fight for him and I fight for his righteousness and I stand for what's right and I stand for what's biblical and in doing so still love these people and not love what they're doing and really You just love them, not for who they are or anything about it other than that they are a creation of God. And we need to respect that, in that they are a creation of God just like we are, and they need Jesus. And if they are going to stand for the rest of their lives in unrighteousness and evil and wickedness, then God, they're your creation. Do with them what you want. And if that means remove them, remove them. Get them out of here. God can do that. I mean, you think about King Herod. Herod made a mockery of God and stood up and made himself to be God, and he died. And it tells us that he was eaten by worms and inside out. And, God can do what God wants to do. And we need to look to him and trust him with that and know that he is all powerful. And because there's coming a day when people are going to see the glory of God, and they're really going to see who he is. And I was reading in Luke 9 today, and chapter 11 both. 9 was in Chapel's devotional, and it's here where he was in the Mount of Transfiguration. James, John, and Peter were with him, and it was there that he talked to Moses and Elijah, and they saw just a little bit of God's glory there, of Jesus's glory, right? And it says this in Luke 9:28. And it came to pass after about 8 days after these sayings, he took Peter, John, and James and went up into the mountain to pray. And as he prayed, the fashion of his countenance was altered, and his raiment was white and glistering. And I believe that some of his glory was still withheld. You just, until we have that perfect body, I don't believe we'll ever be able to stand in the total Shekinah glory of God. And here we see that it was altered, and his raiment was white and glistering. And behold, there talked with him 2 men, which were Moses and Elijah, who appeared in glory and spake of his decease, which he should accomplish at Jerusalem. And so here we see a glimpse of that glory, right? And I believe that while he was here on earth, that was a glimpse of the glory that he has, but he withheld it. Why? Well, he withheld it because he was here for a purpose, and his purpose was to die on that cross for the sins of mankind, and to raise again and pave the way for all of mankind to have a path to God. And there is only one path to God, and there is only one path to heaven. And people get mad at me all the time, all over the place, when I tell them there is one way to heaven. Somebody told me one time, so you're telling me that the whatever billion Muslims that are out there are going to end up in hell? And yeah, they will, until they realize that their God is not the right God. Their God isn't the God of heaven, because the God of heaven, the only way you're going to access him is through Jesus Christ. That's it. It's the only way. And they do not go through Jesus Christ, and they go through their works. They go through Muhammad, and the God that they worship isn't even the God of the Old Testament. The God of the Old Testament is the God of the New Testament. And the only way you're ever going to get to God of the Old Testament or New Testament is through Jesus. And so they need to realize that. So yeah, anybody, I don't care who they are, if they think there's some other way to heaven, you're not going to get there. The only way is through Jesus. But he withheld his glory so that he could be that pathway to heaven. And Philippians 2, verse 7, but made himself of no reputation, and took upon him the form of a servant, and was made in the likeness of men. I mean, he performed all kinds of miracles, and Chapel kind of says that he withheld his glory and his power. I'm not sure what he talks about his power, because I don't think he withheld his power. Maybe some of it, but he healed anyone that came to him. Anyone that he passed by was healed. I mean, he was showing his power as God over and over and over. But we didn't see his glory. And they didn't see that. But there is a day when they will see his glory. And we can celebrate in that. And when we do, I think John saw it when he started writing Revelation. When he started writing Revelation in verse 17, chapter 1, and when I saw him, I fell at his feet as dead. And he laid his right hand upon me, saying unto me, Fear not, I am the first and the last. I don't know. I look forward to the day when we will see his glory. When we will see that all these things that we go through and the stands that we take and the mockery that comes and the hatred that's spewed, that one day we will see that it's worth it all. And so remember that. It is worth it all, guys. And you never forget that. Never, ever forget that. And, we just need to, sorry, these stupid dogs barking and driving. I hate living in town. I really do. But that's all right. God's got it. And one day everybody is going to see his power. And then the last thing that we need to remember, I was reading this in Luke chapter 11, and we need to realize that we have the very power of God and the very provision of God in our hands all the time. I mean, when we know him as our Savior, we are his children, and he gives us the power to walk through the day and be righteous, to walk correctly, and to see his blessings on our lives. And he gave us the Lord's Prayer. He gave us a model there. We are praying to a Father who's in heaven. He's not touched by the infirmities of this world. Jesus Christ, the Son, lived here and was still God and lived a perfect life while he was here. And only God could do that. And not a little God, not a different God. I'm talking about Jesus Christ is God. Okay. And he walked on earth perfectly and made the ultimate sacrifice for each one of us. And our Father cannot be touched by the things of this world. He's from heaven. He's in heaven today. And hallowed be thy name. How we ought to worship his name and glory in his name, not in our name. None of us need to be seeking or promoting ourselves or thinking that we are anything at all. It's God. It's God. And even preachers, if God uses a message that you preach, then you ought to be thankful that God allowed you to be a voice for him, but there is nothing we offer. It's all God. It's all Jesus, right? And you guys, we all need to understand that. And, thy kingdom come. It's coming. It is coming. And he'll set it up and he will rule over it. And his will be done. Let his will be done in your life. Just like I said yesterday, let him have authority over your heart. And let's learn to forgive one another like we ought to. And let us stay away from temptation. And if temptation comes, let us be strong in our faith and in our obedience and walk away from those things. And and then he goes on. And so he gives us this pattern of how to pray, right? But then he also says in verse 8, he says, I say unto you, though he will not rise and give him because he is his friend, yet because of his importunity, he will rise and give him as many as he needeth. Now he goes on and tells us how to pray. Importunity means that you continue to do so. You need to continue to pray. And then he goes on. He says, and I say unto you, ask and it shall be given you. Seek and ye shall find. Knock and it shall be opened unto you. For everyone that asketh and keep on asking receiveth. And he that seeketh, one that keeps on seeking, findeth. To him that knocketh, and the one that keeps knocking, it shall be opened. I mean, that's what God is telling us to do. Sometimes we get upset. God, you haven't answered our prayers. Well, maybe you haven't prayed enough yet. I mean, that's could be part of it, right? I mean, we want to see change in our country. Then maybe the first thing we need to have is change in our own hearts and in our own lives, right? And look to Him, and we pray and we expect God to listen to us immediately. Well, you know what? God's on His own time frame, and God's the one that has all power. Let's trust Him. Let's just walk with Him and know that He's got it. And so let Him have authority over our hearts, and let Him have authority over our minds today, and just walk humbly with Him, and know that He's got all things. And just remember that, when we're walking with the Lord, you know what we're going to do? We will invest our lives in others, and it'll make a difference in their lives for eternity. And that's what we need to focus on. I'm reminded of that. I want to show you guys something here. If I can do this,